Friday, July 22nd. After a glorious morning of being able to sleep in, we take off after lunch and stop at a small yet beautiful waterfall just down the road about 15 minutes. We unload and everyone starts right in, getting set up to take their photos. It's a quaint little waterfall with a surprising number of pretty little flowers. I start climbing the hill to see what lies above. I find a stunning little upper tier waterfall not visible from down below. Hawker and David have also made their way up, Hawker for a break and David to take photography. I continue up over the crest of the hill, and it is rather barren. It consists basically of volcanic boulders and moss. It was pretty difficult to walk across. At the top I did find the stream bed that feeds the waterfall, which was really almost waterless, one of the more common birds, a meadow pipit, and some beautiful lichen-covered volcanic rocks. Then it was time to head back down. We are soon on the road to the other side of the valley and next to the mouth of the estuary. We head down across the valley, past one of the local farms.
Oh, I guess it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's moving.
Our second stop is next to the large estuary feeding into, which means Patrick's Fjord. There's a small village directly across the fjord with the same name, named after St. Patrick, the patron saint of the first individual to settle on that site. I climb down the hillside to the beach area, and I am greeted with not only an amazing perspective, but also this Eurasian oyster catcher, which I think was less than pleased that I was in his area. However, he was very interesting to watch. After a while, it was back in the van for one more stop, a place Hawker called the Ghost House, but really just an abandoned building worthy of a photo or two. After taking a couple of photos of the ghost house, I went down to the beach area. This is the village across the fjord that I mentioned a little bit earlier. I was greeted with a female common eider and her chicks, and some very colorful plants and flowers down in the beach area. Just before leaving, I capture on video an impressive flock of common eiders in flight. And then we are off. On the way back to the hotel, I asked what the stacked up rocks are called and what was their purpose. I was told the name is cairns, pronounced the way it is spelled. I was a tad perplexed due to the fact that a town with the same name spelling, which I visited while in Australia, is pronounced Cairn. Cairns are almost prehistoric because of today's GPS, but they were used to mark the way so people did not get lost, especially in bad weather. We arrive back at the hotel and regroup, get a bite to eat, and then get ready for our second excursion out to see the Atlantic puffins. A little while later, back on the road.
So this place is the westernmost point of Europe. Did you know that?
This is the western.
As west as you can go. Next stop, Greenland.
At this location is the largest collection of seabirds anywhere in Europe. A large percentage of these birds are the Atlantic puffins, sometimes referred to as common puffins. I have done some research about these amazing little birds. So, in the evolution of the Atlantic puffin, they have, as many birds do, a black back and a white front for camouflage protection from predators from above when flying and from below when floating on the water. They have also developed a rather short, stubby wing, which barely has the minimum capability for flight, but makes them superb underwater swimmers and food gatherers. They nest in burrows on cliff tops, which makes their takeoff easier. They spend most of their time at sea and only return to land for mating and the raising of their young. The puffin, in a tiered fashion, is also a barometer for climate conditions. They primarily feed on herring, and herring on plankton, and plankton require a somewhat cooler body of water to proliferate. If the water temperature rises, then the plankton is reduced, thereby resulting in less herring and thus less puffins. Variables to this analysis are predators, pollution, foliage at nesting sites, and human interference. But with all of these factors, consequently, BirdLife International is predicting a loss of up to 79% of the existing population by 2065. Fortunately, there are numerous organizations doing conservation work for these not only adorable but environmentally necessary birds. After a few hours of observing and trying to take video of puffins from different angles with my extension selfie poles, it's time to call it a day. We head back to the hotel, the end of day 3.
Then the sun is like high up anyway. It's like day. Midday.